Welcome back to Chapter 9, Part 4. Floors, walls, and ceilings must be made from smooth and durable materials for easier cleaning. Maintained regularly. Replace missing or broken tiles. Repair holes. Install coving. And this is the vinyl coving that they're talking about. In the video you saw the permanent tile that is made in the shape of coving that works just as well. But this particular coving, where they say glue tightly to protect walls, is the type of vinyl coving that was used with drywall walls, which in most cases aren't even allowed anymore when designing a kitchen. So quickly remove standing water from floors when spraying or flushing them during cleaning. Equipment standards. Food service equipment must meet certain standards if it will come in contact with food. Look for the NSF logo on equipment. NSF International creates national standards for food equipment. Okay? NSF is accredited by the American National Standards Institute, known as ANSI. Installing equipment. Always follow manufacturer recommendations. And always check with your regulatory authority for requirements that may or may not be allowed in your establishment. Set up a maintenance schedule with your supplier or manufacturer and check equipment regularly to make sure that it's working correctly. Installing and using dishwashing machines. Install them in a way that makes them reachable and conveniently located. This is very important because when you get an inspection, if you have them blocked and they are not accessible, that is a major violation. Keep utensils, equipment, and other food contact surfaces from becoming contaminated. Use detergents and sanitizers approved by the local regulatory authority and follow the manufacturer's instructions. Select dishwashing machines. Make sure they can measure water temperature, pressure, and cleaning and sanitizing chemical concentration. Post information about the correct settings on the machine. Cleaning dishwashing machines. Clean them as often as necessary. This is talking about removing the scale as well as removing the food particles from usage during the day. Follow manufacturer's recommendations and follow local regulatory requirements. Hand washing stations must be conveniently located in restrooms or directly next to them, food prep areas, service areas, and dishwashing areas. They must only be used for hand washing and installed with adequate barriers or distance from food and food contact surfaces. They must work correctly, be well stocked and maintained, available at all times. Do not block them. Do not stack them with dirty kitchenware. Again, this is a major violation. Hand washing stations must have hot and cold running water. The water must be drinkable. The water must meet temperature and pressure requirements. And the soap has to be liquid, bar, or powder. A way to dry hands. Disposable paper towels. Okay? Hand dryer. Used warm air or room temperature air delivered at high velocity. The garbage can signage must be clearly visible, and it reminds staff to wash hands before returning to work. Utilities and building systems. Utilities generally are all of these items, not always gas. That is something that is usually installed for major cooking equipment. But again, it has been known that there are kitchens with no gas, and they work solely on electricity. There must be enough to meet the needs of the operation. Utilities and systems must work correctly to minimize risk of contamination. Potable water, and that's water that's drinkable. Only potable water can be used to prepare food and come in contact with food contact surfaces. Acceptable sources of potable water are approved public water mains, regularly tested and maintained private sources, closed portable water containers, water transport vehicles. Installation and maintenance. If using an on-site septic system, make sure it is properly tested and maintained. Only licensed plumbers should work on the plumbing. Cross connection, a physical link between safe water and dirty water from drains, sewers, and other wastewater sources. Okay. Backflow, reverse flow of contaminants through a cross connection into the potable water supply. Backflow can be a result of pressure pushing contaminants back into the water supply, or a vacuum in the plumbing system created when high water use in one area of the operation sucks contaminants back into the water and supply back siphonage. Mechanical devices for preventing backflow are vacuum breakers, the double check valve, and reduced pressure zone backflow preventer. Backflow prevention devices must be checked periodically for proper function by a trained and certified technician. The work must be documented and according to local requirements and manufacturer's recommendations. Grease buildup in pipes. Grease traps can be installed to prevent grease from blocking drains. Grease traps must be installed by a licensed plumber, easy to access, and cleaned regularly. Consider the following when installing and maintaining lighting. Different areas of the facility have different lighting intensity requirements. Local jurisdictions usually require prep areas to be brighter than other areas. All lights should have shadow-resistant light bulbs or protective covers. Replace burned-out light bulbs with the correct size bulbs. To prevent contamination, staff must remove garbage carefully, clean inside and outside garbage containers frequently, cover garbage containers when not in constant use, and women's restrooms must include a covered receptacle for sanitary napkins. To prevent contamination, staff must store waste and recyclables separately, must not create a nuisance or public health hazard, and place garbage containers on a smooth, durable, non-absorbent surface. So it's generally always on a cement pad. They are not allowed on grass or gravel. To prevent food safety problems, clean the operation regularly. Make sure building systems work and are checked regularly. Make sure the building is sound with no leaks, holes, or cracks. Control pests. Maintain the outside of the building. Imminent health hazard. A significant threat or danger to health. Okay? You may be asked that on the exam. They have been asking about imminent health hazards, and candidates have been asking me about it. Requires immediate correction or closure to prevent injury. Possible imminent health hazards would be electrical power outages, fire and flood, sewage backup, unauthorized people inside the facility, and threats to the potable water supply, such as broken mains and terrorist contamination. How to respond to a crisis affecting the facility. Determine if there's a significant risk to the safety or security of your food. If the risk is significant, stop service, notify the local regulatory authority, and throw out spoiled, contaminated food with packaging that is not intact. Correcting problems may include establishing time and temperature control of TCS food, cleaning and sanitizing surfaces in the operation, reestablishing the physical security of the operation, verifying that the water supply is drinkable, and gaining approval of the local regulatory authority.